I am focused. Do you know, it can be very difficult to get inspired in winter, desolate woodland scenes. All the leaves have gone now. There's hardly any light and it's cold and windy. But on the other hand, it is local for me, and local is good. It's 2 minutes in the car to get here. Could have walked it from the house if I'd wanted to, but I think if I can push myself again to find things in these locations, when I get to the really popular ones and the more scenic ones, everything's just so much easier. Now this grimy little pond is somewhere I often walk when I'm coming out for a stroll, especially in summer. Never photographed it, and it might be the time to do it today. The question is whether I'm going to shoot it in black and white or colour. Well, I've ended up with quite a nice composition on the algae and just the algae, using my 250mm lens, longest lens, 135mm equivalent. I've cropped right in, f16, 1 second, and there was a slight bit of swirling going on with the algae, and that may induce a bit of movement, it may not, maybe a tiny bit there. I don't mind, it might even improve things. Anyway, a bit about the film. I'm actually shooting with Portra 800 today, which isn't your typical landscape film. One of the nice things is though, I'm shooting it at 800 and it's raining and I get a lot of speed there. So I say a lot of speed, f22 4 seconds with a polarizer isn't very fast, but you can imagine that would be up to the 15-20 seconds plus if I was shooting with one of the slower speeds. Now, the algae is moving around considerably, so in the space of 2 or 3 minutes, the patterns I was shooting have changed, improved, got worse. I've also slapped a polarizing filter on because there is some glare coming back from the existing light, what light there is on the scene, and that is just saturating it slightly. I don't know if it'll improve it over the first shot, but it's worth a go.
Well, I actually really like this image here. It is an abstract. It takes a while to figure out what it actually is and what's happening. But I do like the colours and the motion. Now the second one has more motion in the foreground, but I actually prefer the patterns at the top. So I think it's well worth me revisiting this location.
Make sure I've not left anything behind, something expensive like the light meter. Anyway, Portra 800 as a landscape film. Well, I shot with the 35mm version a while back and I loved it. I thought it was superb on a bright sunny day, but coming out with a 120 version, and again it's super expensive, is a bit of a gamble because it may render things mushy, it may be poor contrast, I don't know. Never tried it. Well, I have tried it in 120 actually once before and it was quite nice around a city, but if it does work it's going to give it those pastel colours with a better shutter speed. And that's the sort of look, that pastel look I'm enjoying in colour work at the moment. So having broken out the Portra 800, and I have a roll of Delta 400 with me too in another back, that has set my mood for the day already. I'm sticking with the Portra 800. Don't like to mix the two just looking at some nice greenery on the trees there. Don't like to mix the mediums too much when I'm out shooting. Make a decision, stick with it. Now this is quite an interesting area. It just shows you, I mean, I've lived around here for years. I've never actually seen this here. There's a bit of sandstone outcrops coming through here. It is the Sandstone Ridge in Cheshire. My house is made out of it. But it gives a little bit of relief from the monotony of the forest at this time of year. And I'm loving the mosses. Just look at that. I am loving that. I know I say this quite a lot on videos, but if I can't make something out of this, then I do need to find another hobby. But it's a question of taking my time, using the preview device, which I always use, and yeah, I'm getting back to you in about half an hour when I've worked something out. Well, what I've come up with is a shot using the sort of vertical face here of this sort of sandstone outcrop. A little bit of the green moss at the top, but also this swathe of leaves, these dead leaves here. The oranges will contrast nicely with the cooler greens. And I've tried to have it that this is the edge of the frame coming through, and it sort of separates equally between green and brown. Now, while I usually like to pack away my gear and ready myself for the next shot by not lugging the camera around on the tripod, I think there's definitely one within a few feet or meters here. So I'm not going to put the camera away just yet. I am going to carry on scouting with the trusty iPhone and the Mark II Artist Viewfinder app, because it's an area, like I say, I've not seen before, and there is great potential here. I just need to spend a little bit more time doing a recce. Well, let me take you into my world close up. This is an interesting shot for me because it means getting down low, massive investment in energy and pain here. What I'm going to do is put the waist level finder onto the 18mm and get really low down. I love the sweep here of the old tree trunk and the mosses and these few leaves in the foreground. Do you know what? I might have to focus stack it. I might just accept that some of it's out of focus. But if I can get low enough and work into this shot, hopefully I can exclude the bright sky and get some of this dynamic movement in the square frame. Righto, join me in this shot as I get my knees wet. Now, I have gone for my usual, got them out of frame, haven't I? There we go. There we go. Okay. What I have gone for is my standard 80mm lens. I have focused around about here. The background may drop out of focus. I'm not going to focus stack. It's all the purists. All the purists will be happy. 1 second at f22. There's hardly any dynamic range. A little bit of dark shadow area. Don't mind. This isn't too bright, so let's crack on and take 2 frames. 1 second. And again, just recheck my composition. Am I talking to you? Yeah, I am talking to you, aren't I? And again, just recheck my critical focus and my composition, which I absolutely love, by the way. Mirror up. Wait for these leaves. These little ones here are blowing about a bit too much for me, so could even take them out the frame, but I'm not. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Literally give me a second. It's a second exposure. Yeah. Come on. Come on. That'll do. Do you know, it's difficult to explain to people who've never used a waist level finder before how delightful they are when you're working at low level and you want to view a scene as it would be in real life. It's not the same as an LCD on a digital camera flipped up. It's just not the same. This feels real, two-dimensional. It's not interpreted. It's just a mirror. And the scene comes to life. It's just marvelous. It's, you know, if you do the same with 35mm with an angle viewfinder, it's just not the same. Something about these larger format, medium format cameras with their viewfinders, absolutely magical. Now I am going to put my camera away now, even if it means I'm only going to move 20, 30, 40 yards, because I'm in danger of taking something mediocre because it's very, very convenient. And I don't want to do that because this stuff costs a blooming fortune. I think it was, what was it, 18, 19 pounds a roll? That's about £1.50 every time you click it before you process it. Thank God I process my own and save a bit of money. But you're still talking about a couple of pounds every time you press the shutter button. And that's more than instant film, which gives you a print as well. So yeah, let's just be economical with this stuff. Oh, snotty nose. Now I really like that last one. I think that's the best so far of the day. I'm sure it's best so far of the day. But I would like to get another around here because I am loving the greens. It's beautiful. There's a little bit of old leaf litter. And I'm loving it, but I'm loving it. Yeah. Well, I am shooting a pond with a few leaves and a few bits of pond vegetation in them, and I've got my polarizer set to half polarization with the standard lens. Oh, sorry, with the 150mm lens. So when I shoot it fully polarized, I lose too many of the branch details which I want to show through, and if I don't use a polarizer, it's far too bright and reflective, and I won't get the saturation in the colors in the weeds and the dead leaves. Now, as I started to take the picture, it started to rain and I've got more movement, but I'm actually going to go with that. I'm going to incorporate that. Maybe those raindrops will create a nice pattern. Like I say, 150mm lens, whoa, 2 seconds. How many frames have I got left? I think I'll take another one actually. Yeah, surprising, isn't it? The difference polarization can make to shots like this. Like I say, if you go too far, it kills it, but just right, about there, I think that gives it a decent balance. Now, there's stuff to be had. There's an awful lot of movement though with the wind. There's definitely stuff to be had here. God, I'll be back again for certain. All year round as well. You can bloody walk it. So, yeah, some nice stuff. Some very nice stuff around here to shoot, so I will. Ooh, maybe not. Now this one is as much a test of the film, some of its latitude and its colour rendering. I'm shooting just a very simple sandstone rock formation with some light lichens and mosses on here, and then some bare rock as well, mainly this area here. And I've tilted the camera actually to give it a more dynamic effect in the frame. I don't want it going straight across, I want it going corner to corner, the strata. So f/22, 1 second, very easy. Well, one expensive roller film later, maybe 4 or 5 shots there, get them back, get them developed and see what comes out of them. So thank you very much for joining me on this wet, windy day in the forest, and I'll see you again on the next one.